Ethan Allen, the outlaw who sparked a revolution. What if the man branded a criminal by his own government became one of the greatest heroes in American history? It may sound like fiction, but the extraordinary story of Ethan Allen proves that history is often shaped by those who dare to challenge injustice. Born in Connecticut in 1738, Ethan Allen was not a wealthy politician or a trained military officer. He was an ordinary frontiersman who believed that hard-working settlers deserved the right to own the land they had cleared with their own hands. When colonial authorities in New York attempted to seize those lands in the New Hampshire grants, Allen refused to surrender. His resistance led the government to declare him an outlaw and place a reward on his capture. But the title of outlaw only strengthened his reputation among the frontier settlers. To them, Allen was a fearless defender of justice, willing to risk everything for their freedom. Inspired by his leadership, he organized the legendary Green Mountain Boys, a militia made up of farmers, hunters, loggers, and rugged woodsmen. They had no formal military training, yet years of protecting their communities transformed them into a disciplined and battle-tested fighting force. The Green Mountain Boys would soon become one of the first patriot militias to challenge the mighty British Empire. Under Ethan Allen's command, they launched a daring mission that would capture Fort Ticonderoga, securing valuable artillery that helped turn the tide of the American Revolution. It was a victory that proved courage, unity, and decisive leadership could overcome overwhelming odds. Ethan Allen's journey reminds us that true heroes are not always born into power. Sometimes they emerge from ordinary lives, driven by conviction, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to what is right. His legacy continues to inspire generations, demonstrating that one determined individual can ignite a movement and change the course of history. What do you think about Ethan Allen's incredible transformation from wanted outlaw to revolutionary hero? Do you believe his courage or his leadership made the greatest difference? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like, share, and bell subscribe to Age Uncovered so you never miss fascinating stories about legendary battles, remarkable historical figures, and the events that changed the course of world history. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Fort Ticonderoga, the forgotten fortress that held the key to the American Revolution. What if the future of an entire nation depended on a forgotten fortress standing silently in the wilderness? While thousands of soldiers prepared for war after the battles of Lexington and Concord, few realized that one aging stronghold on the shores of Lake Champlain held the very weapons that could determine the outcome of the American Revolution. That fortress was Fort Ticonderoga. In the spring of 1775, both British commanders and Patriot leaders quickly understood that controlling strategic locations would be essential to winning the war. Fort Ticonderoga occupied one of the most important positions in North America. Guarding the vital water route between Canada and the Hudson Valley, the fortress controlled the movement of troops, weapons, food, and military supplies. Whoever commanded this corridor possessed a significant advantage in the struggle for the continent. Yet the fort's greatest value remained hidden behind its aging stone walls. Although years of neglect had weakened its defenses, Fort Ticonderoga still contained nearly 60 heavy cannons, powerful mortars, howitzers, gunpowder, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. To the British, it seemed like an isolated outpost of little immediate importance. To the struggling Continental Army, however, it represented something priceless, a chance to obtain the heavy artillery desperately needed to challenge the mightiest military empire in the world. History often reminds us that the greatest turning points begin in places few people expect. Before a single battle could decide the fate of the revolution, this forgotten fortress became the focus of an audacious plan that would astonish both friend and foe. Within days, a small band of determined frontiersmen led by Ethan Allen would launch one of the boldest surprise attacks in American history, proving that sometimes victory belongs not to the strongest army, but to those bold enough to seize the right opportunity at exactly the right moment. What do you think? Was Fort Ticonderoga's greatest value its strategic location or the powerful artillery hidden inside its walls? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
The bold decision. 83 men against an empire. Could just 83 determined men change the course of history? At first glance, the answer seems impossible. Yet before dawn on May 10, 1775, Ethan Allen and the legendary Green Mountain Boys proved that courage, speed, and decisive leadership could overcome overwhelming odds. Their daring assault on Fort Ticonderoga would become one of the most remarkable surprise attacks of the American Revolution. Working alongside Benedict Arnold, Ethan Allen carefully planned a bold mission to seize the British fortress before its defenders could react. The objective was clear: capture Fort Ticonderoga, and secure the heavy artillery desperately needed by the Continental Army. But as the operation began, an unexpected problem threatened to destroy everything. There were simply not enough boats to transport the entire force across Lake Champlain before sunrise. As precious minutes slipped away, only 83 Green Mountain Boys reached the eastern shore. The remaining militia was stranded on the opposite side of the lake. Waiting for reinforcements would almost certainly expose their position and eliminate the element of surprise. Allen now faced a decision that could determine not only the fate of the mission, but perhaps the future of the revolution itself. Without hesitation, Ethan Allen gave the order to attack. Silently, the 83 volunteers advanced through the morning mist toward one of Britain's strongest frontier fortresses. Every man understood the enormous risk. They were vastly outnumbered and had little chance of surviving if the alarm was raised. Yet none of them stepped back. Their faith in Allen's leadership and their commitment to the Patriot cause pushed them forward. History would soon reward that extraordinary courage. Within only 10 minutes, Fort Ticonderoga fell into Patriot hands with almost no bloodshed. The victory shocked the British, inspired the American colonies, and provided the Continental Army with the artillery that would later help change the course of the Revolutionary War. Ethan Allen's bold decision remains a timeless reminder that sometimes history is written by those willing to act when others hesitate. What do you think was the key to Ethan Allen's incredible success? His leadership, the element of surprise, or the unwavering courage of the Green Mountain Boys? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The prize that changed the American Revolution. The 59 cannons that changed history. What if the greatest victory of a battle wasn't the fortress itself, but what was hidden inside its walls? On May 10, 1775, when Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys captured Fort Ticonderoga, they gained far more than a military outpost. Hidden behind the aging stone walls was a treasure that would help reshape the American Revolution and ultimately change the destiny of a nation. Inside the fort stood an extraordinary arsenal: 59 heavy cannons, powerful mortars, howitzers, thousands of cannonballs, barrels of gunpowder, and countless military supplies. To the British Army, these weapons were simply old artillery stored in a remote frontier fortress. But to the struggling Continental Army, they represented something priceless: hope. At the beginning of the American Revolution, George Washington's army possessed courage, determination, and an unbreakable desire for liberty. What it lacked was heavy artillery. Without large cannons, Patriot forces had little chance of challenging British fortifications or forcing the world's strongest army into retreat. Capturing Fort Ticonderoga instantly changed that reality. The victory proved that military success is not always measured by the land you capture, but by the strategic resources you gain. Those 59 cannons would soon become the backbone of the Continental Army's artillery, giving Washington the firepower needed to confront the British on equal terms. What appeared to be a small frontier victory soon evolved into one of the most significant strategic achievements of the Revolutionary War. Sometimes history turns not because of massive armies or famous battles, but because a handful of determined men recognize the value of an opportunity that everyone else has overlooked. The capture of Fort Ticonderoga demonstrated that vision, leadership, and decisive action can transform a forgotten fortress into the foundation of a nation's independence. What do you think was the greatest prize at Fort Ticonderoga, the fortress itself, or the 59 cannons that helped shape the future of the United States? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Henry Knox, The Impossible Journey That Delivered Victory. What if the greatest victory of the American Revolution wasn't won on the battlefield, but on a frozen road stretching more than 300 miles through snow and wilderness? While Ethan Allen's daring capture of Fort Ticonderoga stunned the British, an even greater challenge was only beginning. Capturing the cannons was one thing, but transporting them across one of the harshest landscapes in colonial America seemed almost impossible. General George Washington understood that the artillery captured at Fort Ticonderoga would mean nothing unless it could be delivered to Boston. To accomplish this extraordinary mission, he turned to a young bookseller turned soldier named Henry Knox. Although only 25 years old, Knox possessed remarkable determination, intelligence, and an unwavering belief that no obstacle was too great. The mission tested every limit of human endurance. Nearly 60 heavy cannons, weighing more than 60 tons in total, had to be hauled over 300 miles through frozen rivers, snow-covered mountains, dense forests, and dangerous wilderness. Using wooden sleds pulled by oxen and horses, Knox and his men battled freezing temperatures, violent snowstorms, slippery ice, and steep mountain passes. Every mile threatened disaster, yet they refused to give up. After nearly 10 exhausting weeks, the impossible became reality. Every cannon arrived safely in Boston. Historians would later call the expedition the Noble Train of Artillery, one of the greatest logistical achievements in military history. Those cannons were soon placed on Dorchester Heights, overlooking British forces occupying Boston. Faced with powerful artillery commanding the city from above, the British had no choice but to evacuate. Without firing a major battle, Washington secured his first great strategic victory of the Revolutionary War. Henry Knox's incredible journey reminds us that history is not shaped only by those who fight on the front lines. Sometimes the heroes who move supplies, overcome impossible obstacles, and never surrender to hardship become the true architects of victory. What do you think was Henry Knox's greatest achievement? His leadership, his determination, or his extraordinary logistical planning? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Ethan Allen's legacy, the 10-minute victory that changed the destiny of America. Can a battle lasting only 10 minutes truly change the future of an entire nation? At first, the answer seems impossible. Yet the daring capture of Fort Ticonderoga by Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys became one of the most influential turning points of the American Revolution. What appeared to be a small frontier raid soon triggered a chain of events that helped shape the birth of the United States. After the successful capture of Fort Ticonderoga, the valuable artillery was transported to Boston through Henry Knox's extraordinary expedition. In March 1776, General George Washington ordered the cannons to be positioned on Dorchester Heights, overlooking both Boston and its harbor. Suddenly, British forces found themselves trapped beneath powerful Patriot artillery. Realizing they could no longer defend the city without suffering devastating losses, British commanders made the difficult decision to evacuate Boston. It became the Continental Army's first major strategic victory and dramatically boosted the confidence of the American Revolution. Although Ethan Allen's personal journey remained filled with hardship, his determination never faded. During the invasion of Canada, he was captured by British forces and endured more than 2 years of imprisonment under harsh conditions. Yet even after his release, Allen continued dedicating himself to public service, working tirelessly to secure Vermont's place within the United States. The true greatness of Ethan Allen lies not simply in capturing a fortress. His courage inspired thousands of ordinary colonists to believe that freedom was achievable. His bold leadership demonstrated that decisive action at the right moment could alter the course of history. A mission lasting only 10 minutes ultimately contributed to the independence of a nation and secured Allen's place among the most respected heroes of the American Revolution. His legacy continues to remind us that history is rarely changed by those who wait for perfect circumstances. Instead, it is shaped by courageous individuals willing to seize opportunities, accept enormous risks, and act when others hesitate. Ethan Allen proved that one bold decision can inspire generations and forever transform the destiny of a country. What do you think was the greatest reason behind Ethan Allen's lasting legacy? Was it his courage, his leadership, or his willing to seize the right opportunity at the perfect moment? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your opinion and invite everyone to join the discussion. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like, share, and subscribe to Age Uncovered. Your support motivates us to continue creating high-quality documentaries about ancient civilizations, legendary battles, remarkable leaders, and the extraordinary events that changed the course of world history. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next documentary.